Hello and Kia Ora viewers. Welcome to Let's Talk Strategy. Today, I am delighted to join by Megan Seator, founder of Romene, a pioneering skincare brand that brings New Zealand's agricultural heritage and the innovation of Korean beauty science. Megan, welcome to Let's Talk Strategy. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me along. I'm so excited to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for that. So let's quickly start our question answer session. So the first segment is Genesis and Vision. That is the founder's journey. So the first question in this is now with Romene, you did find the potential of milk and wool in skincare, but what inspired you to actually start with that?
Yeah, good question. So, Romene is how we pronounce. It's the Te Reo word for Romney, as in the sheep breed, which is found all over New Zealand. So, my husband and I are sheep farmers. And for anyone who knows a bit about farming, particularly sheep farming, it certainly has had its up and downs, particularly in recent years. You know, prices haven't been great, very, very subject to weather. So I was out on maternity leave actually, and I was in charge of the farm while I was at home. So I had a few jobs going on at the time, and we were having a really bad season in regards to the weather, in regards to prices, and I thought we actually need to figure out another income for ourselves, for our farm. How can we, as farmers, create a high value product that we have control of right from the farm right to the sale point? And I began exploring different ways of what that could look like. And wool is so amazing, and there are so many people doing really cool things in the wool industry. Like Honest Wool for producing wool handbags. Dava and Co are doing some amazing wool jerseys and really reinvigorating the wool industry. So I knew I wanted to do something there, but I wasn't quite sure how I could do it and be innovative to really stand out. So that's when I kind of started exploring the chemical makeup of some of our primary industry ingredients, and I ended up on the journey.
That's beautiful. That's a great start. And thank you for sharing that really exciting journey. Awesome. And coming to the point where you actually, and thank you for correcting on the name as well. Romini, is that how it's
Yeah,
pronounced?
that's correct.
Awesome. So name Romini, as you said, comes from the word Romani sheep, right? So why is that important to anchor the brand in this heritage?
Mm. Yeah, well, I guess for us, it's part of our identity. My husband and I are sheep farmers, and we the start of this journey has been with the Romney sheep, the Romney sheep breed. And for New Zealand in particular, you know, when they first were brought over from the United Kingdom, back when the Europeans started settling New Zealand, they were the sheep breed that really thrived. And New Zealand has historically been renowned for its Romney sheep, both in terms of meat and wool. They're just such a versatile species. So we thought, what a cool way to honor the Romney sheep by incorporating it in our name.
How creative. That's beautiful. Awesome. Thank you for that. Lovely. So, when did you first realize that Romani Care could move beyond an idea into a scalable business?
Yeah, so I was exploring the makeup, the chemical makeup of wool and also other primary industry ingredients. And then I guess I was like, okay, so what do I do with this? And I started looking at areas I was interested in. And naturally, being a female, I've got an inclination towards skincare and beauty. And I looked at how wool and milk were currently being incorporated into New Zealand skincare and the New Zealand skincare story. And I quite quickly found an obvious gap in the market. So, you know, we often see in duty free and souvenir stores, New Zealand is great at including the brand New Zealand, the New Zealand story into skincare, particularly using lanolin in creams. Rotorua mud is another one. Manuka honey, and I thought, okay, so we're really selling this one way. How can I explore this a bit further? And I came to the realization after a lot of market research, a lot of market validation, that that a lot of these companies have been in business for decades. Their formulations have relatively stayed the same over the past few decades. Their branding has stayed the same. And there I saw a gap in the market and an opportunity for rebranding New Zealand's primary industries in skincare and how we tell the New Zealand story through skincare. And I think through science and technology, we're really able to advance beyond just lanolin, beyond just beef tallow, or beyond just basic things, to really showcase New Zealand's science and technology and where we're heading, really.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Now, looking back at your early vision, right? How has Romene's purpose evolved since you started?
I'd say a lot. Like initially, it was so wool focused. So I wanted to do something with wool, and now we've entered into the science, this tech space. We've got a significant international focus. We've caught the attention of the export market, and that happened a lot sooner than I'd ever realised. And it's gone beyond just producing skincare, but really taken an identity of itself, which has been so cool.
That's amazing. Thank you for that. This brings us to the next segment, Megan, which is innovation and strategy. So the first question in this one is, when you launched your first product with Romene, how did you know this is going to be big, and what set it apart from the other competitions in the market?
Yeah, well, so our first product we actually only launched a few weeks ago, and so a lot's happened in the past few weeks, but it's taken us a few years to get to this point. So it's amazing how slow something can be, and then we soft launched, and then now it's a lot's happened. But in our first product, we are doing 3 signature sheet masks. So
Mhm.
sheet masks are extremely popular in East Asia in particular. So what they are is they are bits of fabric folded in a pouch with the serum in it and sealed off. So they're single use. They're completely airtight. They're completely sealed off. Now, the reason why that seems to be working well for us as a first product is because they are such a prominent product in the East Asian market, but also because they're completely sealed off, it's able to preserve the formulation really well. So with like tubs and jars opening, closing, they get air, they get bacteria, things like that. But with sheet masks, they're able to be shelf stable for a much longer time, which gives particularly buyers, exporters, security in the product, knowing it's not going to expire quickly. And using anything with primary raw ingredients, shelf life is super important to us.
Absolutely. It kind of was my next question as well,
Yeah.
because I believe you're based in Invercargill, are you?
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. So, are you rating entirely from Invercargill, or do you have a manufacturing and packaging unit somewhere else as well?
No, so we're doing everything from Invercargill, but we are bringing raw materials from elsewhere. So we've got some from Christchurch, some from Auckland, but we're putting it all together down here.
Oh, the local New Zealand, love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Thanks for that. The next question is, how do you strike the balance between the nature made authenticity and the science backed precision?
Yeah, this is a really good question, and something that we still kind of grapple with. We really want to emphasize the nature aspect in our brand and our story. But there is that argument: how natural is farming really? Animals are natural, but farming isn't necessarily natural. But then the same way that we're taking these ingredients and we are, I guess, not altering, but chemically processing them in a certain way that extracts the premium proteins and peptides. Again, can we still use the word natural in nature because it's gone through these processes? So this is something that we're still grappling with, and something that we want to really make sure with our communication. It's like nature first, but scientifically refined, clinically proven, all these things. So adding layers on top of that, because we don't want to greenwash ourselves or um, claim to sell something that's come straight off the farm, because it hasn't. There's a lot of science and technology that goes into our products.
Makes sense. And looking at product validation as well, like the strategy behind validation. So, how did you test the effectiveness of these ingredients, especially for this discerning global market?
Yeah, well, thankfully, some of the scientists behind these ingredients that have been formulating them had done heavy clinical testing themselves. So we're able to leverage off that, and we can confidently say that the wool keratin in some of our products reduces fine lines and wrinkles by 60%, and we're able to say X happened, measurable results. So we're quite happy and confident that the scientists who are experts in this area have been able to ascertain that for us.
Brilliant. And I actually love it because validation is definitely a key for a physical product. So there it goes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. This brings us to the next segment, Megan. The next segment is market strategy and launch execution. Now, the first question in this is, now Romene's placement in New Zealand gift shops, as you rightly said about the other competitions as well, Manukani and everywhere in the souvenir shops are being available. This marked a big step. So, how is within the last few weeks since the first launch, how has the market been responding to this?
Really amazing. Like our launch was a soft launch. It was a test to ascertain how much interest we'd get, and we've got nothing but positive feedback and nothing but excitement in our product. So we've a huge sigh of relief, but equally it's created a bit of more busyness than we were expecting. But yeah, we're super excited that so far step one of the launch is going well, and we hope to, once we're in stores physically, which should be soon in the next couple of months, then we'll be able to do a bit of a harder launch and booster publicity a bit.
That's beautiful. Thanks for that. Now, how does the market for Romania currently or in the future looks like? Would that be more New Zealand specific market, or would that be more into exports as well?
So initially, before we launched, it was going to be very focused heavily on the New Zealand travel retail market. But we've been surprised at the level of international interest. So we expect that we might lessen the focus on the New Zealand travel retail market and increase focus on the export market. So as we are still a startup, we're still learning as we're going. We have been working to date with NZTE, who have been amazing, and so we're planning, I think, to work a bit closer with them to bring our export dream to life. But we're still yet to really articulate what that could look like. And there are so many different avenues for us to go and export. Like it's such a big world out there, and yeah, it's kind of scary, but also exciting.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, how are you planning to scale up production to meet your future demands?
Yes, good question. Good question. So we are preparing now, and we are looking at importing the equipment we need. It's naturally quite expensive, but having that up front, ready to go, will provide a lot more, I guess, preparation and less stress on me when we get these big orders and we think, oh no, how are we going to fulfill them? So if we're ready to go, we're going to have more confidence in moving forward. So we've ordered some bigger manufacturing equipment. So yeah, hopefully on its way to Invercargill soon.
Exciting times. Love it. Awesome. Thanks for that, Megan. This is very amazing. Then that brings us to the next segment 4, which is brand values and agribusiness connection. So the first question in this one, Megan, is where does sustainability come into play across sourcing, production, and packaging for Romania?
Yeah, well, so sustainability is so intrinsically linked with the New Zealand story. So, New Zealand's primary industries, we pride ourselves on sustainability, particularly with our meat, with our wool, and this is naturally ingrained in what we're doing and trying to produce, really. And so, the sustainability values are intertwined with our storytelling, our imagery, our everything we're doing, and also just keeping things as short in the supply chain and keeping things as locally made as possible to avoid adding extra distance and length on the supply chain.
And you briefly mentioned about storytelling. So, like, how important is storytelling, like farm to face, in creating Romani's brand identity market?
Yeah, well, so I think it's been interesting how well received that people appreciate the fact that I'm a sheep farmer, and that's such a integral part of our story and the founder story. Because I mean, I wonder if the journey would be slightly different if if it was an urban person trying to launch this brand, whether they'd be able to achieve the same connection, whether they'd be able to, whether others would resonate with the story the same. I guess we'll never know. But the farmer founded aspect is something that we do leverage and want to keep leveraging really strongly in our story.
That's exciting. Thanks for that. Awesome. And the next one, in what ways does Romilly create new value for farmers by reimagining the traditional wool and milk outputs as well?
Yeah, well, so I think I've got a lot of opinions on New Zealand's farming sector because it is so complex and it has been burdened with some issues in some areas in recent years. But New Zealand farmers are very good at doing what they do, but there is a risk that the world is innovating so fast and we're being left behind. And I think that farmers, particularly sheep farmers, need to seize every opportunity to innovate, to create new markets, to create new products, to improve in every way possible. And for me, this is just one small piece of the puzzle to help sheep farmers sustain and survive and create new high value products from our amazing New Zealand farms.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. One last question in this segment, Megan, is what message do you hope to give to other entrepreneurs, in the skincare industry itself, that they can take away from your journey?
Oh, I'm not sure. Well, I think something is just start. It's easy to overthink things, and I think fear of failure, fear of the unknown, has slowed me down. And once you take those steps, once you get in motion, it's easier to keep moving. As the saying goes, a rock gathers no moss or something like that. A moving rock gathers no moss. So keep moving, keep going, but also really focus on market validation, finding your niche and owning it, because skincare, like many other segments of the market, are highly competitive. They are very noisy and busy, and so you really need to be able to find your niche and claim that territory, really.
Amazing. And thank you for sharing that, because I will take that as a personal, insight for myself as well. That's really helpful. Awesome. Thanks for that, Megan. And this brings us to the last segment, the fun and casual rapid fire round. So
Great.
okay. Awesome. So the first question is, obviously, because you are a wonderful farm woman, but the question is more around, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Okay, I'm neither. So grumpy first thing in the morning, also grumpy as the day wears on. So I'm a middle of the day person.
Isn't that amazing? Awesome. This is an interesting one. What skincare product that you can't live without?
Oh, okay. So my co-founder, who I brought on last year, is Korean, and she has such amazing insights to the K-beauty industry, and she's got me onto some really cool products. And one of them is something I never tried before, but a multi-balm stick. So multi-balms are these they're kind of like lipsticks, and you can carry them around, and they're hydrating. You just chuck them on anywhere you're feeling dry. Chuck them on your cheeks, your lips. I often do it on the back of my hands, like being outside a lot. They get really dry, and I can't live without my K-beauty multi-balm sticks. I've got a few brands, but they're amazing.
That's amazing. That's awesome. Thanks for that. The next is, if Romilly was a person, what 3 words would describe its personality?
Oh, okay. This is interesting. I would say very smart, but the kind in the science space. So maybe someone off the Big Bang Theory, some aspects of there. I'd also say that they're calm, they're rational, and I would also say, lastly, they're caring and nurturing.
Pretty much the sheep.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Awesome. Thanks for that. Next is, if you have a billboard for Romilly in any city in the world, where would you put it?
Ask the question again. Sorry.
If you have a billboard for Romilly, put
Yep.
anywhere in the city in the
Yep.
world, where would it be?
I would put it in that crossing in Tokyo. I'm not sure what it's called. I can't
Shibuya
remember the name.
Crossing?
Yeah. And it's just, and everyone stops and then the lights right there.
That's exciting. Oh yeah, of course, a million people can watch it in one go. That's amazing.
And hopefully they literally stop traffic because they'll be crossing, then they stop to look at the billboard and then, yep, no one can go.
Love it, love it. Thanks for that. Awesome. And the last question is farm life or city life? Which one do you love more?
Okay, so this is where it gets complicated. I grew up in the city, but from marriage, have since lived on farm. I would never go back to city life because I love farm life. But I love holidaying in the cities because, the shopping, the cafes, the restaurants. So farm life, but, with a few hints of urban life in there.
How ironic is it that people from city love going to farm for holidays?
Yeah, I know, and vice versa. Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Megan. And this brings us to the end of our show. Such an inspirational journey. Thank you so much, Megan, for sharing your insights with us. Romene is such a powerful example of how heritage and innovation can come together and create something globally relevant. So love that. Absolutely love that. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much for your time, Anku. That was so nice. It was a great chance for me to think and reflect on the journey so far, as well as have a few questions I wasn't expecting at the end.
and totally love the responses. So thank you again. Thank you so much. And to our audience, do check out romene.co.nz to explore the amazing products and the story behind them. And remember, clarity creates momentum, momentum creates growth. So until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep talking strategy. This is Let's Talk Strategy. Thank you.